Let's talk about the Knicks season opening 108-104 Wednesday night loss to the Boston Celtics with New York Post basketball reporter Stephen Bondy. Steph, we know all about the storylines heading into this game. It was quite the environment at the Garden last night, but it was also a night where Kristaps Porzingis dropped 30 against his former team, and that included 9 in the final 2.5 minutes while the Knicks offense went absolutely ice cold. I defer to you, sir. What happened?
Well, you mentioned ice cold. I mean, that's what happened, certainly down the stretch there. And then there was an incident on the basket with about 2.5 minutes left where Kristaps Porzingis and Isaiah Hartenstein got kind of locked up going for a rebound. And Kristaps had elbowed Isaiah Hartenstein in the face, got a technical. The Garden crowd really got into it, started chanting it, Porzingis, F Porzingis, F Porzingis. And from there, he just took over. He hit 2 free throws. He nailed a three-pointer that was really the dagger in that game. And, you know, the Knicks hung in there, but they weren't able to topple one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and certainly a championship contender.
All right, we know about the stars that the Boston Celtics have. Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, the stars on the New York Knickerbockers. What grades would you give them for their first night out, and why?
D's. Regular D for Julius Randle, D plus maybe for Jalen Brunson. I mean, these are offensive players, and, you know, they're not known for their defense. And when you shoot a combined 11 for 43 and then 1 for 6 from the foul line, that's going to warrant a bad grade. So they didn't really, neither of them, and they will tell you this, neither of them came through in the opener. I think that, though, it's encouraging that the Knicks were ahead late and really had a chance to win this game despite their 2 best offensive players struggling so much. So it wasn't a great game for either of those two. I think both of them will admit that.
Well, for the rotation in the bench, what grade would you give them and why?
Well, Emmanuel quickly had a big game, and I thought that was noteworthy because only 2 days prior he failed to reach an agreement on his extension. So he's now entering a contract year. He's going to be a restricted free agent in the summer, and people are wondering how's he going to react right away to this news, you know. And he bet on himself, and it looked like a good bet in game 1. He came through. R.J. Barrett, he's a starter, but he played a lot of minutes with the second unit, and he had a good game. So I think there were some positive moments from the bench. I think the bench won their minutes, which is kind of expected because the Boston Celtics aren't really a deep team. But I think a lot of the rotation pieces did have nice games.
Your overall final thoughts on the Knicks' first impression of the season? Go.
Well, listen, the Boston Celtics, as I've mentioned, are one of the top teams in the East. In my opinion, they have the best starting lineup in the NBA, and that includes over the Denver Nuggets and over the Milwaukee Bucks. Now they have depth issues, which we saw play out, and they might have rebounding issues. So I thought it was very encouraging that the Knicks were in this game and could have won it. I thought there were two instances where they really got a raw deal from the referees. One being when Jalen Brunson was called for flopping, and it was because Jason Tatum had come underneath him and he fell on his foot. So instead of Jalen Brunson getting 3 free throws, the Boston Celtics got a free throw. So that was a 4-point swing by itself. And guess what? How many points the Knicks lost by? 4. So that could have been a difference in the game. Another situation happened when Emmanuel quickly was called for a foul when it was really, in my opinion, verticality. It was challenged, but the Knicks didn't win that challenge. So there were a couple situations where this game could have turned. With that being said, this team, there's no moral victories anymore. They won a playoff round last year, so you're 0-1, and that's it. You know, that's where you stand with this team. You don't try to take moral victories out of losses, but you try to learn from them. And that was my overall take from the game.
1 down, 81 more to go. Stephen, thanks for joining us, my man.
All right, man.